Welcome to The Inner Chosen. Before we begin, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like one specific person keeps showing up in your mind, no matter how hard you try to move on? Like the connection is deeper than logic, deeper than timing, deeper than coincidence? If that's you, you're in the right place. In today's video, you're going to learn a lot. Why this bond feels so intense, what the signs really mean, and how to tell the difference between a true divine connection and an emotional trap. We're breaking it down clearly, step by step, so by the end, you'll feel grounded, empowered, and way more certain about what to do next. So, take a deep breath, settle in, and welcome home, Inner Chosen. You keep feeling their energy because some connections don't end just because communication stops. When the bond is meaningful, your mind and heart continue to register it in quiet moments, especially when you're not distracted. It's not about forcing a thought, it's about noticing how naturally they return to your awareness. Sometimes, the strongest signal is how uninvited it feels. You're not sitting there trying to replay memories, yet something reminds you of them. Music, a place, a phrase, a scent. That kind of repetition can be your spirit recognizing familiarity or your intuition picking up on unfinished emotional truth. Dreams can play a role too, not always as predictions, but as a bridge between what you feel and what you haven't fully processed. If they appear in dreams during major shifts in your life, it can point to a deeper layer of meaning. Something within you is integrating, healing, or preparing. Another reason their energy lingers is because you're changing. As you grow, you start seeing the connection from a clearer angle, and your nervous system compares it to what you've outgrown. What stands out isn't just attraction, it's the contrast between this and the patterns you no longer want. And finally, you may feel them because the connection is still active on some level, even if it's silent in the physical world. People can think of each other at the same time, feel sudden waves of emotion, or sense distance closing before any message arrives. Whether spiritual or psychological, the truth is this: what's real tends to echo until it's understood. This isn't a distraction when it pushes you toward clarity instead of chaos. A connection meant to teach you will reveal what you tolerate, what you avoid, and where you still abandon yourself. It becomes a mirror that shows you how you love, how you fear, and how you handle the unknown. If it feels intense, it might be because it's pressing on a lesson you can't skip. Sometimes the lesson is patience, sometimes it's discernment, sometimes it's learning that love without boundaries is not devotion, it's self-erasure, and you were never meant to disappear to be chosen. A destiny lesson doesn't always feel romantic at first, it often feels confronting. It asks you to stop chasing signs and start building stability within yourself. It invites you to trust what's steady, not what's dramatic, and to measure connection by character, not chemistry alone. This kind of lesson also teaches timing. You may want the outcome now, but the process is shaping you into someone who can hold it. Real alignment requires emotional maturity, communication, accountability, and consistency. So, the lesson may be preparing both of you to meet each other without repeating old cycles. And whether they stay or go, the lesson is still valuable because it returns you to your power. It helps you choose yourself without closing your heart, and it shows you that if something is truly meant, it won't require you to betray your peace. In the end, the purpose is not to make you chase love. It's to make you come love in a way that finally feels safe. Delays can feel like rejection when you're emotionally invested, but sometimes they're actually protection. When something is meant to be stable, it often has to arrive at the right time, not just the time you want. A pause can prevent you from stepping into a situation before you're ready to handle it with peace. A delay may be shielding you from an older version of yourself, one that would have ignored red flags, accepted half-effort, or confused intensity with love. If the connection had happened too soon, you might have repeated patterns you're now strong enough to break. What feels like waiting can actually be you outgrowing what would have harmed you. It can also be protection from their unhealed stage. Someone can care about you and still not be prepared to love you properly. If they are still reacting from ego, fear, or unresolved pain. The delay keeps you from being collateral damage in their growth process. Timing matters because love without readiness becomes a lesson in disappointment. Divine timing, in any form, often includes alignment in circumstances too. Stability, clarity, freedom from interference, and a cleaner emotional space. If there are too many outside pressures, unfinished ties, or internal confusion, rushing in can create unnecessary pain. A delay can be the universe clearing the path so the connection doesn't start under stress. And here's the key. Protection doesn't always look gentle. Sometimes it looks like silence, distance, or unanswered questions. But if you use the delay to strengthen your boundaries, deepen your self-respect, and stay connected to your purpose, you'll notice something powerful. You're not being paused, you're being positioned. Even if they aren't speaking, they can still be feeling the pull. People don't always show what they feel, especially when they're overwhelmed, prideful, afraid, or trying to keep control. Silence can be avoidance, but it can also be someone wrestling with emotions they don't know how to handle yet. Sometimes the most intense feelings trigger the strongest resistance. If you represent change, intimacy, or a future they're not prepared for, they might step back rather than step up. That doesn't excuse poor behavior, but it explains why someone can care deeply and still act distant. Growth often happens privately. While you're looking for proof in texts and calls, they may be confronting their own patterns: fear of commitment, insecurity, past heartbreak, or the need to mature. Real transformation doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it's quiet, slow, and messy before it becomes visible. There are moments when you'll sense them unexpectedly, like a sudden warmth, a wave of emotion, a memory that hits without warning. Whether you see that as spiritual connection or emotional sensitivity, it can feel like an invisible conversation. The important part is not to let that feeling turn into chasing or guessing games. If they truly are being pulled toward you, the energy will eventually translate into action. Not vague words, not temporary attention, movement with intention. Until then, protect your peace. Let their internal process be theirs, and let your focus remain on becoming so grounded that if they return, you meet them from strength, not longing. What's different about this love is that it doesn't ask you to betray yourself to keep it. Even when it's intense, it doesn't feel like you're constantly proving your worth or auditioning for attention. There's a quiet sense that your dignity belongs here, and you don't have to shrink to be chosen. It also brings clarity in waves instead of confusion in cycles. You may still have urgent questions, but you don't feel mentally trapped in endless "what did they mean" loops. The connection invites honesty, both with them and with yourself. So you start naming what you need instead of tolerating what hurts. This love challenges you, but it doesn't destroy you. It pushes you toward growth, better boundaries, healthier communication, higher standards, without making you feel unsafe. Even the hard moments feel like they're building something, not breaking you down. Another difference is how your nervous system responds. Instead of being addicted to highs and lows, you begin to crave steadiness. You notice that peace becomes more attractive than drama, and you stop mistaking unpredictability for passion. The connection feels like it's guiding you toward emotional adulthood. And most importantly, it aligns you with your purpose instead of pulling you away from it. You don't feel like love is competing with your destiny. It feels like love is encouraging it. When something is truly aligned, it doesn't just take space in your heart, it supports the life you're meant to live. You may be the chosen one in this story because you've survived things that could have made you bitter, yet you're still willing to love with depth. You've been tested in ways people don't always see, and instead of giving up, you learned. That kind of resilience is rare, and it often marks someone who's meant to break patterns, not repeat them. Chosen ones usually carry a strong sense of inner truth, even when they doubt themselves. You can feel when something is off, and you can feel when something is real. You may have ignored your intuition before, but life has trained you to listen now, because ignoring it cost you peace. Another sign is that you're learning to choose boundaries without guilt. You're not here to beg, chase, or tolerate inconsistency. You're learning that love is not something you earn by suffering. It's something you allow through self-respect. That shift is powerful, and it changes what you attract. You also tend to be someone who turns pain into wisdom. Instead of staying stuck in the past, you reflect, heal, and evolve. You don't just want a relationship. You want alignment, mutual growth, and something that honors both people. That desire isn't too much. It's a sign you're ready for something real, and finally being chosen doesn't mean you're better than others. It means you're being called higher, higher standards, higher discernment, higher responsibility for your heart. If this is your path, you'll be guided to love in a way that stays honest, stays rooted, and never abandons your own soul in the process. The real test often shows up when you have no way to control the outcome. You can't predict their next move, you can't guarantee a timeline, and you can't force certainty. And that's exactly where trust is built, when you learn to stay steady, even without proof in your hands. This is where many people slip back into old habits, overthinking, checking for signs everywhere, rewriting the story in their head, trying to do something, just to calm the anxiety. But the lesson is to let your peace lead. Love that's meant for you won't require you to spiral to keep it alive. Trust without control looks like holding your standards while keeping your heart open. It means you don't punish them, and you don't punish yourself. You simply decide that your emotional safety matters and you won't trade it for temporary attention or half-hearted effort. It also means releasing the need to be chosen in a way that feels dramatic. You don't need them to prove their interest by chasing you, and you don't need to chase them to prove your devotion. You allow what's real to come forward naturally, because what's real can stand on its own. And when you pass this test, you'll notice a shift. You feel less desperate and more discerning. You stop trying to read their silence like a puzzle, and you start listening to your own inner voice. That's when you become truly magnetic, because you're no longer trying to control love. You're allowing it to meet you at the level of your self-respect. Right now, the most powerful thing you can do is return to your center. Instead of making this connection your whole world, make your peace your priority. The more grounded you are, the clearer everything becomes, what's real, what's not, and what you will no longer accept. Ask for clarity in a way that strengthens you, not in a way that feeds obsession. You can pray, meditate, journal, or simply sit with your feelings honestly. The goal isn't to force an answer. It's to become calm enough to recognize the truth when it arrives. Keep your focus on your purpose and your daily discipline. When you build your life, you stop waiting at the door of someone else's attention. You become someone who is already fulfilled, already moving forward, already becoming. So, love becomes an addition, not a rescue. Do not chase energy. Align with integrity. If they are meant to meet you, they will meet you in consistency, not confusion. Your standards are not punishments. They are protections. And protection is a form of love you owe to yourself. Finally, stay open, but stay wise. Let your heart be soft, but let your boundaries be firm. If the connection is truly guided, it will come with peace, timing, and maturity. And if it doesn't, you'll still be okay, because you chose yourself, and that choice never leads you wrong. Before you go, I want you to take one quiet moment and choose one word that captures what this message awakened in you. Maybe trust, alignment, peace, discernment, faith, or timing. Write that word down somewhere you'll see it later, because it's not just a comment, it's a commitment to your next level. And if this video helped you, please support it till it can reach the people who need it most. Tap, like, subscribe if you feel called, and share it with someone who's been searching for clarity. Your support genuinely makes a difference. Also, if you see YouTube's hype button on this video, please click it to boost the reach. It's a simple way to help this message get discovered by more inner chosen souls, and it tells the platform this content matters. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your energy, and remember, you don't have to chase what's meant for you. You only have to stay aligned with who you truly are.